In an unexpected turn that rippled across financial circles worldwide, veteran analyst Jonathan Antonio released his highly anticipated 2025 market forecast, immediately sparking intense debate among traders, advisors, and institutional investors. Speaking with the tone of someone who had spent months analyzing global patterns, Antonio described 2025 as a year shaped by hidden catalysts, emphasizing that many of the forces influencing the coming financial cycle were already brewing beneath the surface, unnoticed by casual observers but impossible for experts to ignore. As he laid out the framework of his analysis, Antonio detailed how geopolitical shifts, evolving monetary policies, and rapid technological innovation had formed a unique environment capable of elevating some sectors while punishing others. He noted that investors who clung to outdated strategies or purely reactive thinking could find themselves blindsided by sudden waves of volatility. What stunned listeners was not simply his confidence, but the precision with which he articulated the mechanics behind each prediction, making clear that he believed 2025 would reward those who recognized early signals and acted decisively. Yet Antonio hinted that the biggest revelation was not the market's fragility, but the opportunity hidden within it, opportunities he claimed were concentrated in just a handful of stocks poised to dominate the year. And as he prepared to unveil his top picks, the financial world held its breath, uncertain whether his insight would bring reassurance or ignite new waves of speculation. When Jonathan Antonio disclosed his first recommended stock, industry observers were caught off guard, not because the company was obscure, but because he claimed its next breakout phase had been underestimated by nearly everyone. According to his analysis, this major tech company, which many believed had already reached its growth ceiling, was quietly preparing a massive operational pivot fueled by advancements in artificial intelligence, data security integration, and next-generation cloud services. Antonio explained that internal restructuring, increased R&D investment, and several discrete acquisitions hinted at an aggressive expansion strategy targeting markets currently fragmented and underserved. Rather than relying on nostalgia or brand legacy, the company appeared to be reinventing itself from within, an approach Antonio said could dramatically increase its valuation as early as Q3 2025. Reporters pressed him on the risks, yet Antonio maintained that the stock's downside was minimal due to long-term contracts, diversified revenue streams, and unusually high institutional support. His assertion that the market still prices this company as if it's standing still, despite evidence of acceleration, sent analysts scrambling to reevaluate their models. As murmurs spread across trading floors, Antonio hinted that this pick wasn't merely a safe investment, it was the foundation of what he called 2025's most overlooked tech resurgence. And while he declined to reveal confidential sources, he insisted the company's upcoming product cycle would change the competitive landscape faster than anyone expects, leaving investors wondering whether they had been underestimating a new era juggernaut hiding in plain sight. Jonathan Antonio's second pick centered on the one sector he claimed would undergo its most dramatic transformation in more than a decade: energy. Rather than focusing on traditional players or speculative renewables, Antonio spotlighted a mid-cap energy technology firm that had quietly become indispensable to major global grids. This company, specializing in advanced storage infrastructure and grid stabilization systems, had seen rising adoption across Europe and Asia, but remained strangely undervalued in the US market. Antonio argued that as countries transition toward more electrified systems, driven by EV expansion, green mandates, and increasing reliance on intermittent energy sources, grid stability solutions would become not just useful, but mission-critical. He noted that the company had recently secured long-term government contracts, expanded manufacturing capacity, and patented a breakthrough algorithm capable of reducing grid stress by up to 30%. Antonio stressed that such innovations position the firm at the center of 2025's energy revolution, potentially making it one of the most profitable infrastructure partners of the decade. While critics questioned whether global uncertainty might stall renewable investments, Antonio countered that energy reliability systems were recession-resistant because no country can afford a blackout during a digital-first era. With growing investor interest and international funding, Antonio predicted a valuation spike the moment North American markets recognized the company's strategic importance. But he warned that the window to enter early was closing fast, setting the stage for a heated race among investors scrambling to secure positions. Antonio's third stock prediction highlighted a rapidly evolving financial technology hybrid he described as the future backbone of consumer transactions. Contrary to the belief that fintech innovation had slowed, Antonio revealed that this particular company had achieved a rare advantage, blending traditional banking stability with digital age agility. He pointed to the firm's growing ecosystem of real-time payment rails, AI-powered risk assessment systems, and cross-border transaction tools designed for an increasingly global freelance and creator economy. More intriguing was Antonio's claim that the company had begun forming discrete alliances with major e-commerce platforms, enabling faster settlements and smoother merchant services. Insiders suggested the company would soon announce additional partnerships capable of doubling its international footprint. Antonio emphasized that as inflation pressures and interest rate shifts continue into 2025, both consumers and businesses will gravitate toward financial tools offering transparency, speed, and lower transaction friction. These conditions positioned the fintech banking hybrid as both a stability play and a growth catalyst, especially as outdated banking systems struggle to keep pace with modern demands. Antonio further noted that strong regulatory compliance and proactive security investments gave the firm an edge against smaller, higher-risk competitors. While skeptics argued that the fintech space was oversaturated, Antonio countered with a simple point. Most competitors are fighting for customers. This one is building the infrastructure everyone else will depend on. As financial reporters began digging deeper into the company's recent filings, it became clear that Antonio's pick wasn't speculative hype. It was anchored in undeniable momentum and strategic foresight. The next company on Antonio's list came from the healthcare sector, a field he described as on the edge of a structural breakthrough. His chosen firm, a clinical data analytics company specializing in AI-driven diagnostics, had been quietly revolutionizing how hospitals interpret patient information. Antonio explained that what separated this firm from traditional health tech competitors was its ability to integrate seamlessly with existing hospital systems, eliminating costly infrastructure overhauls and accelerating adoption rates. The company's proprietary engine could process millions of patient records, flag anomalies with unprecedented accuracy, and provide clinicians with decision support insights in real time. Such capabilities not only reduced diagnostic delays but also lowered administrative burden, a major issue in modern healthcare. Antonio pointed out that with rising healthcare demand and ongoing staffing shortages, hospitals would increasingly turn to data-driven platforms capable of reducing workload without compromising outcomes. Furthermore, he highlighted the company's growing pipeline of government compliance certifications, which many of its competitors lacked, positioning it for rapid expansion into international markets. Critics expressed concerns about regulatory delays, but Antonio dismissed those worries, noting the firm's experienced legal team and long-term partnerships with medical institutions. He predicted that as healthcare modernization accelerates through 2025, investors would view the company not merely as a technology provider, but as a foundational pillar of future medical infrastructure, making it one of the most compelling long-term plays of the year. When Antonio announced a retail sector pick, many investors raised eyebrows, given the challenges brick-and-mortar companies faced in recent years. But Antonio argued this particular retailer had executed one of the most impressive turnarounds in recent memory. The company had embraced a hybrid distribution model, combining in-store personalization with streamlined online fulfillment, effectively bridging the gap between digital convenience and physical experience. Antonio noted that the firm's smart inventory technology reduced waste, its new subscription-based customer model increased retention, and its data-driven pricing strategy significantly improved margins. What made the stock especially appealing, Antonio stated, was its decisive shift into private label products that outperformed expectations in both cost control and brand loyalty. He emphasized that while many competitors were shrinking, this company had expanded into new regions with careful precision, focusing on mid-tier markets underserved by luxury brands and ignored by discount chains. Analysts who previously dismissed the retailer began re-evaluating their positions as the firm's quarterly reports showed consistent earnings surprises. Antonio predicted that the retailer's evolution into a tech-enabled commerce ecosystem would allow it to dominate throughout 2025, especially as consumers pivot toward value-driven but higher-quality purchases. And as investors absorbed Antonio's analysis, it became increasingly difficult to argue against the possibility of a full-scale retail renaissance led by a company most had once written off. Antonio's seventh highlight focused on an industrial automation firm positioned at the forefront of what he called the next great manufacturing shift. With global supply chains still adapting to post-pandemic realities, the demand for robotics, automation software, and precision manufacturing tools had surged beyond expectations. Antonio explained that the firm had built a competitive edge through its modular platform, allowing factories to upgrade incrementally rather than overhauling entire systems. This lowered costs significantly and attracted manufacturers across automotive, electronics, consumer goods, and aerospace industries. According to Antonio, the company's backlog of international orders hinted at explosive growth, especially in regions accelerating their reshoring initiatives. He pointed to the firm's commitment to safety compliance, predictive maintenance analytics, and machine learning-enhanced efficiency modeling as clear indicators that it was not merely participating in the automation wave, it was shaping it. Some analysts questioned whether automation growth might slow due to economic uncertainty, but Antonio dismissed that theory, arguing that automation was no longer optional. In 2025, efficiency isn't a luxury, it's survival. By the end of his breakdown, even skeptics acknowledged that the company's technological versatility and global positioning made it a rare industrial gem. Jonathan Antonio's next pick surprised entertainment analysts when he highlighted a mid-tier media company that had successfully transitioned from traditional broadcasting into a dynamic streaming-first powerhouse. Antonio explained that the firm's strategic pivot hinged on data-driven content curation, targeted licensing deals, and a clever focus on younger audiences underserved by legacy platforms. While larger streaming services grappled with bloated budgets and subscriber fatigue, this company embraced a lean approach, producing cost-efficient originals and acquiring international content with strong viral potential. Antonio emphasized that the company's analytics engine gave it an uncanny ability to identify trending topics before they peaked, allowing it to maintain a consistent presence in social media conversation cycles. He added that the firm's expansion into live digital events, sports micro-rights, and interactive programming positioned it uniquely for 2025's fast-shifting media consumption habits. Although critics questioned whether a smaller studio could survive in a saturated market, Antonio argued that its agility gave it a competitive edge. The giants are heavy and slow. This one moves like a startup with the discipline of a network. By the time he finished outlining the company's roadmap, it became clear this wasn't simply a bet on entertainment. It was a calculated investment in the future of viewer behavior. Another standout pick on Antonio's list was a transportation technology firm developing next-generation mobility solutions designed for dense metropolitan regions. According to Antonio, the company's breakthrough wasn't electric vehicles or self-driving systems, areas already saturated with competing claims, but its advanced routing, fleet optimization, and micro-logistics software that significantly reduced operational costs for delivery services and rideshare companies. Antonio noted that regulatory filings showed rapid government adoption of the firm's traffic flow algorithms, especially in cities working to reduce congestion and carbon emissions simultaneously. He also highlighted the company's international partnerships and its bold expansion into Southeast Asia, a region considered one of the fastest-growing transportation markets in the world. Some analysts expressed concerns over scaling challenges, but Antonio countered that the company's asset-light strategy allowed it to scale faster than hardware-focused competitors. He emphasized that urban mobility modernization was only in its early stages, with enormous financial upside for firms offering practical, cost-saving infrastructure tools. If global cities continued their trend towards smart traffic ecosystems, Antonio insisted this company would become the silent engine behind a worldwide mobility revolution. His analysis left investors contemplating whether they were witnessing the rise of a future infrastructure titan. For his final recommendation, Jonathan Antonio revealed what he considered the quintessential 2025 stock, a cybersecurity firm uniquely positioned to benefit from rising digital threats, AI-driven attacks, and expanding remote work infrastructures. Antonio explained that the firm's unified platform, combining behavioral analysis systems, automated breach response, and enterprise-grade encryption, offered unmatched scalability for companies of all sizes. He disclosed that recent contract announcements hinted at extensive government adoption, and confidential industry chatter suggested the company was negotiating multi-year agreements with major cloud providers. Antonio stressed that cyber risk mitigation was no longer a back-office concern, but a front-line operational necessity, making cybersecurity one of the few sectors he believed would grow regardless of broader economic turbulence. He emphasized that the company's high recurring revenue model, rapid customer onboarding, and minimal churn made it not only a growth play, but one of the most stable long-term investments available. As Antonio concluded his list, he warned that 2025 would not reward passive investors. Only those who understand the structural shifts of this coming year will capture the upside. His words reverberated across financial communities, leaving investors with a clear message. 2025 would be defined not by fear, but by opportunity cloaked in rapid transformation.